Hello again, guys. Okay, so where we last left off in the last video, we were doing the landing page. So today we're going to be working on setting up the registration form. Now, like I said before, the styling of my application is going to rely heavily on Bootstrap, and I'm currently using Bootstrap 5. That's the latest version of Bootstrap. So but this the styling that I'm using isn't mandatory. The only important part would be the form fields themselves. So just keep those the same. You can use whatever styling you want. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. But in case you are following along with what I'm doing, you will need Bootstrap and so forth. So it's all right. The first thing I'm going to do here is create a new HTML5 called register, right? And then just gonna, by the way, I'm using Emmet. So Emmet allows you to, it gives you access to certain shortcuts to create boilerplates, such as the one that I'm creating now. Right, so I'm gonna name title to register. Okay. Okay, so um, the registration form and login form are all going to have the same background as the landing page, right? So here we can link the style sheet for the default style sheet that we used on the landing page, which is default.css. All right, and then the other thing that I need to take is the Bootstrap resources that I have along with font awesome. So I need to put those before the default styling sheet, by the way. All right, so I think that's all we need. So now, since already in here we linked the body to have the same background as the index, we don't need to do anything. Um, we don't need to do anything in terms of styling the background. So I'm gonna close that now. All right, so um, the first thing I need to do. Oh, by the way, the form itself in the original that I showed, it was aligned to the middle. So for that to happen, I need to add bootstrap classes here, deflex, and then I'm going to say align items center. Then I'm going to say justify content center. All right, and then here is where I'll add my registration form card. Okay, and then in here I'll add the body. So I'll say card body. Okay, and then it's going to be card body. Okay, so the first thing I need to add at the top here is the form header. Okay, that's going to be an H1, and I'm just going to give it a class of form header, and I'm also going to give it a class of card title actually. And then in here, I want to add an icon, so it's going to be, let me see, class, it's going to be FA, and FA, I think I'll say edit. Okay, then this I'm just going to say register. So before we continue any further, let's just see how this actually looks. So I'm going to run the server by clicking. Oh, by the way, I have an extension in here which is called Live Server. So that if you don't have it, you have to install it here within the what is it? The extensions button over there, All right, so let me just pause the video because this might take a while to open up. So, oh, actually, here it comes up. Okay, so there it is. Okay, so now, by the way, I need to extend this particular card. So I'm gonna set that extension over here. So I'm gonna say column. It's gonna expand about 6 columns. All right, so there you have it. Okay, so now we added the card header. Um, what else? Okay, so now here, I think in the original I had a subtext or a subheader, but I don't think we need it. I don't know. It'll depend on how the form looks, but yeah, let's just start off by adding the form elements. So I'm gonna say registration form. Okay. Um, just give it a class of reg form actually. Okay. So now within here, I'm gonna add a form group. So it's gonna be form group. Actually, no, sorry, I made a mistake. I need to add them within a row because I want the name and the surname to be aligned with each other. So for that to happen, I need to say form row. And then this is where I'll insert my form group. So here I'll say I'll add a div with the class of row, and then within here, this is where I'll set my form elements. Form group, and then for this to be aligned with each other, I have to add also a class of column, which stands for column, by the way, right? So in here, I'll just add a no, actually, I don't need a label. I just need the input field, um, which is going to be text. The name is going to be first name, and then uh, the class is going to be form control, and then the placeholder will just say um, enter first name. By the way, just add a backslash here at the end. The reason being is that when we move over to the JSP files, we're going to be using JSTL core tags, and we're going to be converting these to Spring forms or Spring form tag elements. And so that usually gives an error where if you don't close this off, it'll just throw an error when you try to compile the application and so forth. So just edit now so that when we get to Spring, not Spring, when we start working with Spring tag elements, we don't need to, we don't end up in what you call it, we don't run into issues. Okay, so we can now copy this form group and then just add another element. You can thin that within the row. Nah? Just remember to do that within the row, and then I'm gonna paste it right below that. By the way, change this to last name. Okay, and here we'll just say last name. So it's first name, last name. Okay, let's check how it looks. Okay, so there you have it. Um, let's just put a margin between the register and the form, what you call it, the form elements. So here we can just put in margin bottom. Let's just say 3. Let's check it now. Okay, it's not bad. We can add a line element, a horizontal line there, but let's just leave it for now. Okay, so we have our first name and last name fields. Now we're gonna add the email. So for that, we're gonna copy this. We're gonna copy that one form group element. Don't put that within a row, by the way. Uh, just indent this. So we're gonna change this to email, and then also the type to email, and then also the placeholder to enter email. All right, let's check it again. Okay, that's fine. So don't worry about this for now. We will work on spacing these elements between each other. All right, so the other fields that we need are password, confirm password, and the password and the confirm password field. So we can copy the setup we have for the first name and last name, because I also want the password fields to align with each other. And then we can paste it there. We can change this one to password. Um, change the type to also password. And then also here we will say enter password. And then this one will be confirm password. Change the type to password. And then here we can say confirm password. Okay, let's see now. All right, so there we have our form elements. All right, so I want these elements to these what you call input fields to be a bit bigger. So what we can do for that, let's just highlight this. All right, so to highlight all of these elements, for example, if I press Control D, what VS Code will do is that when you press Control D multiple times, it's going to highlight any element that has the exact same as the one that you highlighted. So for example, I highlighted form control. So if I press Control D multiple times, it'll highlight all the elements that have that exact same name. And then now here what we can say, we can edit all these elements with the same name all together. So what I'm going to say is form control and then say LG. So these will give us large input fields. As you can see there, they are a bit bigger. Okay, so now that we have that, what we need to do is here on the card element, right? I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna set the background to transparent. So I'm gonna say BG transparent, and then remove the border as well. Say border 0. And if you press enter, you'll see now the border is gone and the background color is gone, right? Okay, so now we can target the input fields within the registration form. So I'm gonna copy, let me just copy that name there, and then come to the default field. Now I'm doing this here within the default CSS because the login form will also take up the whole what you call it, will also take up the same what you call it, the same styling. And in fact, let me not use this as reg form. What I'll do is just target the card itself. So I'll say um, dot card, and then I'll say form control, right? And then I'll say margin, and then the top and bottom I want them to be spaced in between. So I'm going to say 10 pixels, but then on the left and right I want 0 pixels. So let's check it out now. All right, so they are spaced um, evenly between each other from top to bottom. Okay, so now I want to give these form fields what you call it, a box shadow. All right, so the box shadow is going to be similar to this. It's going to be similar to the buttons on the landing page. So if I paste that, if I copy that, I'm copying that from what we did on the landing page. All right, so let's check it out now. So as you can see, they all have a background color, a box shadow of blue. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can. All right, so now let's work on the login, the registration button. Okay, so for that, we're gonna place it in again within a form group. So I'll just copy the email one and then just paste it below the row. So sorry about that. Okay, so here we can remove this particular um, input field, and then we can just say button, and then we can say register. And we're gonna give it a class of btn, and then btn. Uh, let's just say let's say md for now and see how it looks. Okay, so if you check now, btn class btn md register. So why is it not showing? Okay, well, looks like something's wrong there. Okay, button. Okay, so it looks like I just needed to refresh. All right, so it's not showing a background now. So now I want the color of this to be the same as if you check the index page, I want it to be the same color as the registration button here. So if you go back here, we're going to take what we did within the landing page, which is going to be this here. All right. And then if you check it now, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Sorry. Um, sorry about that. I have to say card and then button. So this is just gonna, because this is gonna be the only element with the tag button in here. We can just target whatever button that's in there with this element, and then also the color needs to be white. The color of the text, I mean. All right, so that's our button there. But as you can see, it's way too small for my liking. So um, what I'll do is I also wanted the width to be a bit bigger. So I'm gonna take what we did again with the with the landing page, make the width 200, and then I want, you can change the sizing of this to btn lg. There's also other sizes like, I think it's x, let me see, it's btn, and then I think there's, wait, I don't know, there should be an extra large size, but I don't know. All right, so it's lg, so let's look at it now. All right, so there you have it. So now I just want this to be a little bit down, so I'll add a margin in here as well. So the margin is going to be bottom and what you call it, the margin bottom and top is going to be, I'm going to say 10px again, and then 0px on the side, left and right, I mean. Okay, so I think it's fine where it is. And then I also want to add that box shadow over there. The box shadow, I'll copy this again, just place it there. And then if you check now, there's our button there. Okay, so that's our registration button. So now the font, I want it to be, I want this font for the button to be white. So I have to target, uh, let me see, how do I target this? Oh yeah, I can just say, dot card, and then the card title. So I need to add a dot there, and then I'll say color, I'll say uh, I'll say white, and then I want all of the elements to have the same font styling. So for that, we can just say within here card, and then target all the elements to have the same font styling. So that's going to be font family, and then it will be comfort. If you're adding this font over here and you see it's not working, just remember I downloaded this font from Google Fonts, and installed it on my computer. So if you want this font, you'll have to do the exact same thing. The name of it is Comforter. So if you check now, as you can see, now all of the elements have the same font styling, and then they are also having the same style. So the other thing is to add a bottom text here that's gonna send us to the login page. So for that, here down here, right after the button, we're gonna say, should it be? No, it shouldn't be within the form. Right after the form here, you can just say card text. Just give it a p tag and say card text. And then in here, you can just say already have an account, and let's put a span tag here, and then say sign in, and then we'll put a bootstrap class in here. We'll just say margin start, just give it, by the way, margin start means on the left side, right? So we just give it a margin of 2, and then the text, I want it to be warning, right? So let's see now how it looks. All right, so let's give it a text color of uh, white, and then give it a margin bottom, or actually margin top and bottom, we'll just say 2. Okay, we could have done this the same way within the CSS file, but it's just easier here. All right, so there we have our text. So if you have an account, when we click here, it's going to send us to the login page. And then the last button we need to add at the bottom here is the back button, which is going to take us to the landing page. All right, so for that, you're just going to say landing page. Okay, and then say end. All right, and so here we'll just add a small, should I say small? I think this small is fine. And then class is going to be the same as what we did with the span tag within the sign in, what we did over here. So within here, now I'm going to add an icon first and say fa, sorry, class fa, and then fa um, arrow left. Then again, margin end, I'm going to say 2. So remember, ms means margin start, which is on the left side, and then margin end, which is uh, on the right side. So on the right side of this icon, we need a margin of 2. And then here we'll just say back. And then here the text will be warning. Let's save and then come back here. So there you have it. We have our back button over there. This needs to be uh, an anchor tag, sorry. You can place it there. And then for it to not have that, we're going to say btn and then btn sm, right? So if you come back here, we need to add this particular class here to that button, text warning, and then there we have it. So I think the margin between where it says already have an account and the button is fine. Let's just change the spacing there, it's a bit too much. So here we can change that to 1. Let's see if it doesn't do anything, we can just remove it altogether. Okay, I think that's fine as it is. Okay, so yeah, if I were to add the index page here and say index.html, and then you come back here, and if we click on it, it should take us to the landing page. Right now, we didn't link the registration form, so we can do the same for now, but those links are going to change when we get to when we start converting these pages to Spring, to what you call it, when we start converting these pages to JSPs, because this is going to point towards controllers, not the actual HTML page. But for now, we can add them so that we can navigate between the two. So if you come back here, you can go to the registration page, and then if you click here, it'll take us back. All right, so I think that's it for the registration page. Like I said, the styling isn't necessary, but just make sure that the form fields are the same. And then, but if you were following along, you need Bootstrap. And then the colors themselves, obviously, you can just copy what I did with the with the hash codes over there. All right, guys. So that's it for the video. Again, guys, if you liked what you've seen so far, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll be seeing you guys within the next video. All right, cheers for now.